What if I told you that the person you still think about every single day has already moved on? What if the text messages you're constantly rereading, searching for hidden meanings, were never meant to pull you back in? They were just polite ways of saying goodbye? And what if everything you've been holding onto, the late night memories, the inside jokes, the promises that felt eternal, what if none of it means what you think it means? If any of that stings, if your chest just tightened, then pay close attention to what I'm about to say, because this might be the most honest conversation you'll have about your ex today. You're not here by accident. You didn't just stumble onto this video while scrolling. Something inside of you, something that's been whispering for weeks or maybe even months, knows it's time to get real about what's actually happening, and I respect that. I respect the fact that opening yourself up to hear something you might not want to hear takes more courage than most people will ever understand. So let me be very clear with you right now. This video is not about hurting you. This video is about freeing you. This video is about stopping the mental torture that happens every time you check your phone, every time you replay old conversations, every time you convince yourself that maybe, just maybe, they still want you back. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. That hope you're clinging to, it's not love. It's pain dressed up in beautiful clothing. And the longer you wear it, the more it eats away at who you really are. I know what that feels like. The anxiety of not knowing. The torture of checking if they've seen your story. The way your heart jumps when your phone buzzes, only to feel it sink when it's not them. The late nights where you convince yourself that if you just change something about yourself, if you just become better, if you just try harder, they would come back. But listen to me very carefully, understanding these signs, the real signs, not the ones your desperate mind has been twisting, is going to be the turning point that changes everything for you. Because once you see the truth for what it is, you stop spending your energy on a door that's already closed. You stop pouring your heart into a vessel that has no bottom. And you start redirecting all that power, all that love, all that dedication, all that fire back into the only person who truly deserves it, you. So here's what I want you to do. If you've been carrying this weight alone, if you've been pretending you're okay when you're breaking apart inside, if you've been waiting for a text that might never come, this video is your permission slip to finally let go. Stay with me until the very end. Because I'm not just going to show you the signs your ex doesn't want you back, I'm going to show you exactly what to do about it, how to stop the cycle, how to rebuild yourself from the inside out, how to walk away with your head held high and your heart completely protected. You're going to leave this video knowing exactly who you are again. You're going to leave this video with a plan, and you're going to leave this video free. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about the 6 signs that will set you free. Before I show you those 6 signs, I need you to understand something first. What you're feeling right now is not weakness. It's not foolishness. It's not something that makes you broken or pathetic or unworthy of love. What you're feeling is the most human thing in the world, and anyone who tells you otherwise simply doesn't understand the depth of what you're going through. Let's be honest about something. You've probably already had people in your life tell you to just move on, to get over it, to stop thinking about them. And every single time someone says that to you, it probably makes you want to push them away even more. Not because they're wrong, but because they don't get it. They can't possibly get it. They haven't felt the specific weight that's sitting on your chest every single morning. They haven't experienced the way your brain plays tricks on you at 2 a.m. when the world is quiet and your thoughts are loud. You are not crazy for still caring. You are not crazy for wanting answers. You are not crazy for lying in bed wondering where it all went wrong and whether you could have done something different. That ache you feel, that deep, gut-wrenching ache, it exists because you loved genuinely. You loved with your whole heart. And that kind of love doesn't just disappear overnight. It doesn't switch off like a light because someone decided to walk away. Here's something else you need to hear. Hoping that your ex might come back doesn't make you desperate. It makes you human. It makes you someone who still believes in the possibility of love, even after it's been taken from you. And that belief, that right there, that's one of the most beautiful and powerful things about you. Don't ever let anyone make you feel ashamed for it. But here's where I need you to shift something in your thinking. Right now, you might be sitting in a place of uncertainty. You might be holding on to fragments of conversations, tiny moments that gave you hope, little signs that maybe, just maybe, they still have feelings for you. And I understand that. I've seen this pattern so many times. People convincing themselves that the silence means something else, that the distance is temporary, that if they just wait a little longer, everything will go back to the way it was. But what if I told you that the uncertainty you've been living in is actually the thing keeping you stuck? What if the hope you've been holding, that beautiful, painful hope, is the very thing that's preventing you from finding peace? I'm not saying this to hurt you. I'm saying this because I want you to feel safe enough to hear what comes next. I want you to know that whatever sign I'm about to show you, whatever truth I'm about to share, it's coming from a place of genuine care. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm here to build you back up. But real strength comes from facing reality. Real freedom comes from accepting what is. So as we go through these 6 signs, I want you to stay open. I want you to promise yourself right now that you will hear every word without judgment, because this information isn't meant to destroy your hope. It's meant to replace it with something much more powerful, something that will carry you forward instead of holding you back. The 6 signs I'm about to share are not meant to confirm your worst fears. They are meant to open your eyes. And once you see clearly, you will finally be able to make decisions that serve your highest good. You will finally stop chasing someone who has already let go, and you will finally start investing your energy into becoming the person you were always meant to be. I'm going to be direct with you. Some of these signs might sting when you hear them. You might even want to stop watching, but I need you to trust me for the next few minutes, because the moment you finish this video, you are going to feel like a completely different person, a person who knows exactly where they stand, a person who is ready to stop guessing and start living. So take a deep breath, let go of any defense mechanism your mind is trying to create, and get ready to finally see the truth for what it is. You deserve clarity, you deserve peace, and that's exactly what you're about to get. Why is it that some people break up and move forward within months while others stay stuck for years? Why do some people walk away from relationships and actually thrive, rebuilding themselves, finding new purpose, becoming even stronger than before, while others collapse into the same cycle of pain, hoping, and disappointment over and over again? The answer isn't about who loved more. It isn't about how special the relationship was. And it definitely isn't about who deserves better. The answer is much simpler and much more powerful. It's about one thing and one thing only: clarity. When you have clarity, everything changes. When you know, truly know, where you stand, your brain stops searching. Your heart stops racing every time your phone lights up. And your mind stops creating stories that were never real in the first place. Clarity is the switch that turns off the torture chamber your own thoughts have been building around the clock. Here's something most people never realize. Your brain is actually working against you right now. And I don't mean that in a negative way, I mean it in a biological way. There's a psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect, and it's the reason you can't stop thinking about what happened. Your brain has created an open loop, an unfinished story, and it will keep pulling you back into that loop until the story gets closure. That's why you keep rereading old messages. That's why you keep analyzing every conversation. That's why you keep searching for answers that may never come. The problem is that your ex hasn't given you closure. And even if they did, part of you would still be looking for more. Because closure isn't really about what they say or do. Closure is about what you decide to accept. It's about the moment you choose to stop waiting for someone to validate your worth and start validating it yourself. That's the shift I'm about to help you make. The 6 signs I'm going to walk you through in this video are not random observations. They are psychological patterns, things that show up consistently when someone has genuinely moved on versus when someone is still holding on to hope. These aren't signs I made up. These are patterns that show up again and again in human behavior, because when people truly want someone back, their actions align with those words. But when they've decided to let go, their behavior tells a different story. A story your heart doesn't want to read, but your mind needs to understand. Here's what accepting these signs will do for you. Number 1, it will stop the endless loop of second guessing. You will stop wondering whether you should reach out or whether you should wait. Number 2, it will protect your energy. Every moment you spend analyzing someone who has already checked out is a moment stolen from your own growth. And number 3, it will give you back your power. Because once you see the truth clearly, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You become the driver again. Let me be very specific about what you're going to get from the rest of this video. For each of the 6 signs, I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. First, I'll explain exactly what the sign looks like in real life. Not theory, real situations that you might recognize from your own experience. Second, I'll show you why this sign matters psychologically, what your brain is doing when it sees this behavior and why it tricks you into thinking it means something different. And third, I'll give you the exact action steps you can take starting today to reclaim your peace and rebuild your confidence. This isn't just information, this is transformation. This is the moment you stop being controlled by what happened and start being guided by what comes next. So here's my request. As we go through each sign, I want you to stay honest with yourself. Don't protect your ex by making excuses for their behavior. Don't protect yourself by pretending you haven't seen these signs. Just breathe, listen, and let the truth settle in. Because the truth isn't your enemy. The truth is the door you've been standing in front of, too afraid to open. Behind that door is a version of you that is free, and that version of you is ready to step out. Let's begin. Let's talk about something you've probably already noticed but haven't wanted to admit. The texts. The way a simple conversation used to flow so easily between you two, long messages, quick replies, voice notes that made you smile, has now become something completely different. Maybe it started slowly. Maybe one day they just started taking longer to respond. Maybe the conversations that once lasted for hours now end after 3 messages. And maybe, if you're being completely honest with yourself, you've started to notice that when they do reply, it's almost like they're doing you a favor. This is the first sign, and it's one of the most painful because it's something you can see with your own eyes. When someone wants you back and when they genuinely want to rebuild what you had, communication doesn't become a chore. It becomes something they look forward to. They make time for it. They initiate it. They send messages that feel alive, not messages that feel like obligations. But when someone has quietly decided to move on, their communication style shifts in ways that are hard to ignore, even when you're trying so hard not to see it. Think about this for a second. When you were in love with this person, did you ever have to beg for a response? Did you ever have to wait days just to hear back about something that should have taken 5 minutes to answer? Of course not, because when love is present, connection is natural. It's not forced, it's not scheduled, it just happens. And the fact that you're here right now, watching this video, feeling that knot in your stomach when you think about how they used to text versus how they text now, that feeling is your intuition trying to tell you something important. Your brain is going to try to protect you from this truth. It's going to throw up excuses like nobody else would. It will say things like, maybe they're just busy. Maybe they have a lot going on at work. Maybe they don't check their phone as often anymore. Maybe. And all of those maybes might even be true sometimes. But here's what your brain doesn't want you to realize. If someone wanted you back, they would make time. Plain and simple. There is no job, no responsibility, no amount of busyness that would stop them from trying to connect with you. People who want to be in your life find ways to be in your life. People who have already left find reasons to stay silent. This is where so many people get trapped. They keep waiting for the person they love to come back, but they keep confusing silence with mystery. They tell themselves that no response doesn't mean no interest, but that's not how human connection works. When someone cares about you, they show up, not sometimes, not when it's convenient. They show up because being connected to you matters to them. The psychology behind this is really important to understand. Right now, your brain is actually experiencing something called a cognitive dissonance. That's when your beliefs and your observations don't match up. You believe this person still cares about you. But every time you send a message and wait for hours to hear nothing back, or worse, get a response that feels cold and distant, a part of you feels the disconnect. And instead of accepting that disconnect, your brain tries to bridge it with explanations that keep the hope alive. That's why you can read the same short reply 10 times and still convince yourself it meant something more. But I want you to think about what that silence is actually costing you. Every hour you spend staring at your phone, waiting for a message that probably won't come, is an hour you could be investing in yourself. Every conversation you replay in your head, trying to decode what they meant, is energy being drained away from your own healing. That silence isn't just about what they're not saying to you, it's a message in itself. And the longer you ignore it, the longer you stay stuck in a place where you don't belong. Here's what you need to do starting today. Stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. Stop sending messages and waiting by the screen like your entire day depends on their response. because it doesn't. It never did. You assigned that power to them. And it's time to take it back. You are not someone who waits. You are not someone who begs for basic communication. You deserve to be pursued, not forgotten. And the moment you truly accept that this silence is a sign and not a pause, you will feel something shift inside of you, something powerful, something that finally gives you permission to stop waiting and start living. That silence isn't a door that's almost opening. It's a door that's already closed. And closing a door isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter.